What's up, people? In this video we are going to talk about counting calories and why you should not count calories. It is a waste of time. Counting calories is dumb, and you just shouldn't do it in general, especially if your goal is weight loss. I know that's a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to break it down for you right now why I think counting calories is a bad idea for 99 out of 100 people. Okay, so before we get into that, if you have not subscribed to my channel, click that subscribe button. I make videos all the time. You can track the progress of my hair. It seems to be expanding. Yeah, and also this video is brought to you by legendarysuitjamas.com. They make suits similar, well, I guess this is one of their shirts, but I just didn't feel like wearing the tie. I need a break from wearing a tie. Once a week is enough for me. Okay, now let's talk about counting calories, why you should not do it, why it's a terrible idea, and you shouldn't even really consider it. Okay, now I was writing an article actually the other day. I have a new fitness blog which you guys can check out, link in the description. I write all kinds of articles, well, really one a day, and it's mainly just about fitness and fasting. But I was writing this one article and I was somehow came to the point where I was recommending that if people want to do something, right, if you want to encourage a certain type of behavior, either in yourself or in somebody else, you need to make it easy, okay? For example, and this is not really related to fitness, although we could make a fitness example as well, but the first thing that popped into my mind was that when I used to work in sales, if you want the customer to buy something, you need to make it easy for them, okay? I used to work in retail, in shopping malls. It was very aggressive sales, and one of our managers told us, they said, you know, when you're doing a demonstration for the customer, all you need is to get them to pull out their credit card and give it to you and agree to buy whatever the product was. And she said that the distance that the credit card needed to travel was not a lot of distance, okay? It was maybe a foot, 2 feet to go from their purse to the credit card terminal. Okay, and when I thought about that, it kind of, I don't know, a light bulb, I guess, went off in my head in that she's right. You don't need, the card itself does not need to move that much. It's a very small distance. You just have to think of it in terms like that, getting the credit card from the person's purse into the credit card terminal. Maybe you think that's bad or, you know, scummy or something like that. If you've worked in sales, you'll probably understand, or if you have a business. Now, how would we relate this to fitness, and what does it have to do with counting calories? Well, if you've ever tried to count your calories, you can probably already see where this is going. It's not easy, and it's not fun, and I question how effective it even is in general. So, are you going to look up how many calories are in every single piece of food that you eat? I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could use, oh my God, MyFitnessPal to do that. But, all right, we're going this way. But I think that you would be able to follow a certain set of beliefs or set of patterns that would probably make it easier for you to get the type of result that you wanted without obsessively counting the types of calories that you eat. For example, I often say eat raw meat, or at least eat natural foods that existed, you know, 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. And the reason is because I think it's a much broader suggestion and a much simpler suggestion to follow than telling somebody, or yourself even, that you need to count and track calories for every piece of food that you put into your body. Because one strategy is telling you to focus in a very detailed way, which is going to take a lot of mental energy and a lot of willpower. And you know, if you've read, anyway, they say that you only have a certain amount of willpower, right? It's like a tank that when it runs out, you're out of it for the day until you take a nap or recharge or whatever. But anyway, oh, there's people here. Once you kind of understand it in that way, and you compare that to just a very general guideline of eating healthy food, choosing to eat healthy foods, you're focusing on something completely different. And in my opinion, it's a much more productive thing to focus on. I would rather tell somebody the type of foods to eat than tell them essentially with counting calories, okay, you can eat Oreos and you can eat chocolate cake and you can eat all of this food that has absolutely no nutritional value. However, if you stay underneath 2,000 calories or 1,500 calories or whatever it happens to be, whatever your maintenance is for the day, then you're okay. Okay, which brings me to my next point, which is that counting calories, this whole obsession with, if it fits your macros, does not account for your insulin levels. Okay, and this is the beauty of fasting or OMAD, or essentially restricting your eating frequency, or making it less frequent, which is that you can control the insulin spikes that you're inevitably going to have when you finally do eat something. This is one of the reasons why, and I mean, okay, fine, I'm not the most fit or the most lean guy like in the world. I don't have a million Instagram followers, I wish, but I'm not that person. But I've managed to stay lean and fit my whole life basically because I ate one meal a day at the end of the day, which controlled my insulin spikes, which does not happen when you're eating several meals throughout the day. And if you don't, I guess you could make the argument that if it fits your macros, or counting your calories and expanding that to counting your macros as well, 1 gram of sugar is not the same. Let's say you eat 20 grams of carbs. It's not a lot, I guess. Let's say, yeah, okay, it's fine. 25 grams of carbs from a bowl of oatmeal, right? I'm just making up numbers. I have no idea how much oatmeal that actually is. That is not the same as eating refined white sugar, 25 grams of that, okay? But technically, if it fits your macros, or what was the other one, counting calories, technically it's the same, okay? It would be considered the same under that. So not only is it inefficient for people in terms of the amount of mental energy that you have to expend to actually track this type of thing, but it's really just the wrong advice in general to be telling people, especially people who are new to fitness and who don't maybe understand the nuance of it. I'm making it sound like I'm some super fancy educated guy, but at the end of the day, the example that I gave before, if you're eating raw sugar, raw sugar is different than pineapple juice, which is different than oatmeal, which is different than, wheat bread or whatever. They're all gonna have a different effect on your body. So, how can you really justify this whole counting calories thing? And another thing is that it doesn't really account for the nutrients in the food that you eat, which again is another one of the reasons why I really recommend eating raw meat, because it's so nutrient dense. And it's a shame that I'm kind of relegated to my little YouTube channel and whatever articles I write on my blog that nobody visits to kind of spread this message. I mean, it's a shame and it's not a shame. It's a shame because if I were to try to promote this on Reddit, for example, the post would get taken down, unless you're in some subreddit that's for raw meat people that has not even close to the amount of people that the larger subreddits have. So on the one hand, it's kind of a shame that I'm not really able to spread this message to the people, but how many people would really believe it anyway? But on the other hand, it's kind of a good thing, because the people who are willing to accept that message and who are willing to believe it as true, or who are at least willing to test it and to experiment on their own and make their own decisions, those people will be, I believe, drawn to my content or my message or whatever. And, I'll still be able to perform at a much higher level when compared to people who don't do that. So I'll be able to maintain some kind of advantage over them, okay, if you want to think of it in a Machiavellian sense. Okay, I don't know if that made any sense at all. But basically, don't count your calories. It's dumb, it's stupid, it's a waste of time, unless you are a professional bodybuilder or a professional wannabe fitness model on Instagram, or a professional, I can't really think of any other situations where that would be good. And regarding this last thing, but regarding the whole count your calories on the snake diet, okay, because I know that's something that Cole recommends, and I mean, I believe that the reason for that is to kind of get extremely overweight people to get used to eating smaller portions of healthy food. I'm pretty sure that is the higher level of intent for that. And it's less so restricting the amount of calories that they have on their refeed. Okay, so this is not like a dig against him or anything. However, that said, if I were to recommend to somebody what to eat on their refeed and they're extremely overweight and they're trying to do the snake diet, I wouldn't have them restrict their calories. I would say eat as much as you want, as long as you're eating the right foods. You can have as much vegetables as you want, you can have as much meat as you want, like actual meat, not cheeseburgers. You know, have as much vegetables, have as much meat, have as much whatever, eat your fill, eat until you're full, like actually full, and you don't want to eat anymore, because you're probably going to be in for another 2, 3, 4 days of fasting anyway. So you might as well eat as much as you want, because the amount, let's say you overeat, you have 3,000 calories somehow of meat and whatever, potatoes and like actual natural foods that are healthy and have nutrients and that will be good for you. Is that really going to impact your health in such a negative way over the next few days when you're fasting and you burn any extra stored fat that you might have stored in the first 36 hours? I don't really think it's that big of a deal, but that's just me. I'm a little bit more mellow than Mr. Snake Diet himself, who I have a lot of respect for. This is just one area that I disagree with him on. Okay, so if you actually tell me what you think. Do you think counting calories is good? Am I totally wrong? When are some situations where maybe it would be a good idea to count calories? Let me know in a comment. Tell me what's up. Tell me what you think. Check out legendarysuitjamas.com. Link in the description. Peace.